Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And today I got something special in the mail. Little box of discs from Prodigy. Kind of really excited to make this video. I had a conversation with one of the members at Prodigy, and he was nice enough to send me some discs because of two reasons. And one is because I have never thrown Prodigy before, and I actually have rarely seen other people in this area throw Prodigy. I'm not sure if it's because of who I play with and the certain courses I play, but Prodigy is obviously they are a well-established company. They have the 2024 and 2023 world champion in Isaac Robinson. They have the rising star in Ezra Robinson. And so that was reason number one. And reason number two is because they're looking for me to buy their discs and sell them at my shop. And so I'm kind of making this video for myself in order to figure out if they have good discs, and two, maybe to share with you guys what they sent to me, and maybe you guys can give me some insight in whether or not Prodigy has good discs and you think I should sell them at my shop. So without further ado, let's get into it. And just to let you guys know, I have no prior knowledge to what came in this box. I know that the guy from Prodigy was nice enough to send me a bunch of emails. He sent me what it was in the list, but I made sure not to look at it just so it had kind of like a mystery box feel, and I can be excited to see what I was going to throw. And so disc number one is a PA3 in the Fractal 300 plastic. If you were to ask me what discs I know from Prodigy, I would say that I only ever really heard of two. I've only really heard of other people throwing two discs, and obviously one of them is the PA3. I believe it's a very popular putting putter, if not their most popular putting putter from their lineup. And their D2, just because I've heard a lot of Ezra Robinson throwing their D2, the reblend D2s. But this is disc number one. Looks pretty cool. Kind of has a unique feel in the hand. Has a little bit of a puddle top, and kind of has this very sharp edge with a little bit of a bead. Feels kind of like a DGA sonar with a bead. That's DGA's new overstable putter. Feels pretty sick. Number two, ooh, this looks pretty cool. It is the A5 in the Glow 400 plastic. It seems kind of like a zone. Oh no. Kind of has the very similar characteristics of an overstable approach disc, puddle topped with a sharp bevel, but this one feels a little bit more shallow comparative to others. Feels better since I have smaller hands, but be curious to see how that one flies. Third disc from the box, we have the FX3 in the 400 plastic. Funny enough, this is the only disc I have ever thrown from Prodigy, and it's because I got a FX3 in a tournament in Modesto, I believe, last year, and it flew pretty well. And from what I remember, I kind of liked it at the time, but it flew very similar to my Neutron Volt. So I thought it was going to be a little bit more understable, but I'll be curious to try this one out. FX3. Next this, we have the PA5 in the 400 Ultra Soft plastic. Now, I'm not sure if this Ultra Soft plastic is brand new. I've heard a couple people talking about it. Based on hand feel, it is ultra soft. It feels similar. If you've ever thrown the Parachute from MVP discs, it feels like that jello-like, very similar hand feel to those discs, especially the MVP Open parachutes that just came out this year in the Proton Soft plastic. Seems like a nice understable approach putter. Kind of interesting how it has like a little bit of a lip right here, and like I wouldn't say it's a bead, but it's kind of like I don't know how to say it, but it just feels like a unique understable putter. I'd be curious to try this out. Wonder if it's more stable than the numbers say. Next, we have a Reblend Recycled Premium M4, and this one is insanely domey. This looks like, I'm not sure if this is the buzz or the hex of the Prodigy lineup. Seems like it probably is based on the flight numbers. Feels pretty good in the hand. It feels kind of more understable. Feels very similar to a Fuse, in my opinion. Fuse or like a Svea from Castoplast. Next, we have the H7 in the 500 plastic. It feels very similar to like a stiffer, domier road, like a super domy Roadrunner. And speaking of plastics, I'm not sure how the Prodigy plastics work. I could probably just do a little bit of research, but it seems like they have the 500 plastic, 400, and 300 plastic. I'm assuming the 300 plastic is the base plastic, but the 400 plastic just feels kind of like Champion plastic from Innova. And then this feels like a unique blend, honestly. It feels different than any other plastic I've felt before. In the 500 plastic kind of feels, man, it feels oddly similar, like to a mix between DGA Pro line plastic and maybe something else, and I'm just forgetting. But that's the next disc in our list, the H7. Next, we have the D4 in the 400 plastic, 12.5 -2.2. Seems like it would fly very similar to a Turn or a Wave. But yeah, never heard of the D4. Want to see how far you could throw one of these. Seems like they're pretty domey, so you could probably get a little bit of hyzer flip and they'll drift on forever, but we'll have to try it out in the field. And then lastly, he gave me a F7 in the Air Spectrum plastic. I remember when I first started playing disc golf, I got I forget what disc it was. I believe it was like a D3 I believe it was like a D3 in the Air Spectrum plastic. It was really flippy. I think it was like 148 grams. This one's 163 grams, but it was like, I had to throw it on this much hyzer, it'd flip over and still turn. It was probably just a really beat up Air Spectrum disc. But so yeah, that was the last disc in the box. And so we have these 8 discs from Prodigy, and basically from this video and from you guys, I'm going to determine whether or not I'm going to wholesale their products. Based on what I see here, it seems like they have some pretty good discs. So I'm just gonna go test them out. You guys can watch and see how these Prodigy discs fly. But without further ado, let's get to the field and start throwing. All right, guys, we made it to the field. Let's go test these discs out. And then while I'm throwing, I'm going to be comparing these Prodigy discs to the discs in my bag and kind of give you guys an idea of what these discs fly like and see if you can compare them to any discs in your bag as well. So without further ado, let's get started. We'll start off with the PA3. I'm expecting this thing to fly pretty straight, but let's see how it goes. Kind of flippy, flipped up, turned over to the right. Next disc we have is the 400 Ultra Soft PA5, super gummy. The disc closest to this in my bag is my Fierce. So let's throw both of these and see how they fly. Super flip up to almost roller. Actually rolled. All right, let's try to throw the Fierce on a similar hyzer line. I think this Fierce will be a little bit straighter. Yeah, way straighter. Flips up. Maybe I didn't throw that one as hard, but definitely a little bit more understable. Next, we have the Glow 400 A5, I believe. Yeah, 400 Glow A5. This, I'm assuming, will be very similar to my straighter Toro or my more overstable Toro. I'll throw all 3 of these. I have a feeling this thing is really overstable, but yeah, pushes straight, maybe a little bit, and it feels like it goes on hyzer right away. I think it'll be very similar to this Toro. Let's throw both of them. I'll throw my straighter one first. Yeah, almost identical to that flight. Trying to throw it just on a little bit of hyzer. This one will probably be a little bit more overstable. Honestly, all pretty similar. So that A5 does really fly like the Toro. Let's see, next disc we have is the M4 400 Reblend. Oh no, recycled premium reblend M4. My straight mid-range of choice is the Buzz. I could also compare this to the Detour, just in case this is a little bit more understable. This thing is super domey. You could probably hear it. So I'm assuming this thing is going to be a little bit more of a hyzer flip disc rather than a rip flat go straight disc. Yeah, flipped up. Didn't trust it too much because how pop-toppy it was, but I honestly think it'll fly right in between these two discs. This is kind of like my really straight mid, slightly stable. Yeah, kind of had some nice flip to it, which I really liked. I think that'll be really similar to the Detour. See, I had this barely flips up and then kind of just pushes straight. Let's throw my Detour now. Yeah, my Detour flips up a lot more and drifts nicely. So I feel like it's definitely right in between the Buzz and the Detour. So flight numbers were pretty accurate on that one. Next in speed, I have the F7. I don't really have a disc in my bag similar to this, but I do have a Proton Shift. And I feel like they'll be pretty similar. If anything, this will be way more understable. I think the Proton Shift's numbers are 9.5, -3.1. Let's try it 50 degrees of hyzer and see if it flips up, rolls. Yeah, it definitely flipped up. Turns, faded back because I threw it so damn high as compared to the Shift. I threw that one even higher, less hyzer. That thing probably went out of frame, but you kind of get the idea of how it flies. Next disc is the FX3. Like I said earlier in the video, I've thrown an FX3 before, and it was pretty stable from what I remember. So I have a bunch of fairways in my bag. I got a TL3 and a Volt. I think it'll probably fly similar to one of these two. If not, I'll throw something different. Let's test it out. So yeah, I might have thrown that a little bit of anhyzer, but it flies, I think, really similar to this TL3. Man, I am throwing that so high, but kind of a similar flight. Both, I honestly think those two discs are pretty similar. So pretty reliable mold. Maybe it should be a little bit more stable on the flight numbers, but next you have the H7 500 plastic. This should fly pretty flippy. There's so much dome to it. It looks like you hear the pop top. Feels kind of like a super domey Roadrunner, so should flip up pretty nice. I'm gonna try to throw this a little bit lighter on hyzer. Yeah, I threw it super nose up. Still flies pretty well. And then lastly, the one I'm kind of most excited to try is the D4 12.5 -2.2. The reason I'm most excited to try is because I've been experimenting with flippier discs, and right now currently in my bag I have the Wild Honey, which I really like so far. Flips up, goes straight. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if this does the same thing or if this turns over a little bit more. Based on the hand feel, it feels like the parting line is pretty low on this thing, so it'll probably be a little bit more flippy, but let's try it out. Yeah, so definitely a little bit more flippy than this Wild Honey. It flipped up and turned a little bit. I don't think I can get this Wild Honey to do that if I throw it on the same amount of hyzer. That disc, honestly, flew really well. I probably got it to like 420-ish feet, so let's see how it flies comparative to the Wild Honey though. I pulled it. Oh, I got the turn. Never mind. Well, I threw it on less hyzer, I feel like. I still got it over the field, so about 430-ish. Yeah, so let's go grab those discs. I'm actually gonna throw them sidearm and see how they fly then. Just got some of the discs back. Let's sidearm them. I'm only gonna sidearm a few because most of them are pretty understable discs. So I'll probably sidearm the A5, FX3, and D4. And I might sidearm F7 too for fun because it's so flat. Just to clarify, my sidearm is not too good, but try to give you guys an understanding of how these Prodigy discs fly. And let's start off with this FX3 for sidearm of the day. Oh yeah, a little nose up, 200 foot. Feels pretty good. Went pretty straight, which I liked. Let's try this F7 next. Try to put this on some hyzer. Got the flip up. Faded away right. Not sure if that's in the camera frame. Let's try this A5. Let's see, I'm gonna try to put this on a little bit of flex, see how torque resistant it is, and go from there. Oh, pretty bad shot, not gonna lie, but it fought out. I'll probably rethrow that one. Here's my Toros. I'll just throw these flat. Or hyzer. Kind of just the dumpy approach discs I kind of need. A couple discs I'll try again. Backhand, I'll try this PA5. I'm gonna throw it a little bit lighter. The M4, I'll probably throw it a little bit straighter to see if it turns. Start with the PA5. I threw that like 40% power and still got the nice turn. Let's try this M4. Threw it like 50% power. Man, that thing wants to glide. It's a nice disc. And lastly, we'll throw the H7 again. I'm just gonna throw it a little bit of hyzer. Try to throw it a little lower. So similar to the Roadrunner, it flies a little bit more stable than the numbers say. It'll flip up, but if you don't put the power on it, it won't turn. So I find that interesting that they're so similar. But let's collect those discs and then talk about them. Let's throw this A5 and D4 on sidearm again. Throw these flat. Don't need to play cute with it. Just throw it. See how it flies. Yeah. Very similar to my D4 or to my Toros. Try this D4. Wow, I think hyzer flipped nice. All right, so I guess that kind of does it for this video. Overall, I would say that the discs flew about as what I expected. I didn't have like super high expectations, or I just kind of wanted to give them a fair test. I would say that the discs that I enjoyed the most were specifically the D4. I like how flippy it is. I'm obviously biased because I'm looking for a semi-flippy distance driver and kind of fit everything I wanted out of it. It got a good sidearm flip up. It just went straight. And same with my backhand. It kind of just flipped up. It turned a little bit, but it came back. So D4 is definitely one I really enjoyed. And also the A5. The flight numbers kind of make it seem like it would be a little bit straighter than it actually was, but it flew exactly like my Toros. The grip is pretty unique as it's so shallow and kind of pinches my fingers, but I like the glow plastic. It's so soft that it makes up for the shallowness. I would say overall, besides that the discs flew a little bit flippier than advertised. Obviously, every manufacturer does this. It's not like Innova or Discraft or MVP has perfect flight numbers. Just something to keep an eye out on is like when you're getting a disc, it might be a little bit flippier or a little bit glidier, which most people will probably like comparative to what the flight numbers say. So discs like the PA5 and the M4 might go a little bit, just might be a little bit flippier, a little bit more understable than your typical disc with the similar flight numbers. To close out this video, I want to know 3 things from you guys. 1, do you think I should stock Prodigy discs? I think I will stock a small batch of discs just because I know some people do like them. 2, do you throw any Prodigy discs? And if so, comment down below. And 3, if I do order any Prodigy discs, what should I order? Is there any specific discs that I didn't show here? I'm sure there are that I should stock at my shop. Comment down below, I'd really appreciate it. But also, before I close this video, I'd like to say a huge shout out to Prodigy for sending me these discs. I'm really appreciative of it. To give a small disc golf store owner and YouTuber a chance to review discs. It really means a lot to me, and I'm very appreciative of it. And I hope that this can be the start of a good relationship. So shout out to Prodigy. I'll link their website and their discs down below. But like I said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.